Important.
Determined. Brave.
Caring.
Courageous.
Resilient. Compassionate.
Giving.
Powerful.
Inspirational.
Adventurous.
Inspiring.
Ours.
Real.
Mother.
Today we're in the gardens of St Thomas Hospital. In 6 months' time we're going to be standing here to unveil the first named statue to Mary Seacole. The statue is going to be centre on to Big Ben and Parliament.
Mary's statue means that being in such a prominent position, it will be a fine introduction to those who are not aware of her work. It will be a permanent reminder of what she achieved.
She was a Jamaican-Scottish nurse born in Kingston, Jamaica in 1805 and died in London and is buried in London in 1881.
The statue of itself is symbolic. The statue of a nurse is inspirational. The statue of the first named black female in the UK is historic.
There is something very important about having a visible memorial to a person who was lauded in her time, but quite frankly was forgotten then for about 100 years.
In the 50s and 60s, you had the mass migration from Africa, the Caribbean. Saw England as the mother country. They were coming home to help the health service. And she was sort of like a forerunner for that. So having the statue here in St Thomas's Hospital, that would be an amazing accomplishment.
We want people to see that there was this person who stood up for people who didn't have a voice for themselves, who went on to the battlefields, who supported soldiers who were dying, who were not being cared for well by the British Army, and who came back and talked about her work and really helped to lay the foundations for the way that nurses at their best work today with compassion and kindness.
Mary's important to me because of her fantastic achievements in what she did as a nurse, as an author, as a hotelier, things that I found out later on in my life.
When I heard her story, I just thought, wow, if I could have an ounce of what she's got, what could I achieve?
When I was at school, education around black history was pretty much non-existent. So I believe that telling her story, not only to the black community, but to all people, is of incredible importance.
How many people would actually sell all of their stuff to travel halfway across the world to go and tend to people that are not even related to you, some people that you don't even know?
She's someone who cared, somebody who was giving. And those are two attributes that, for anybody, it's inspirational.
Given that there's not one named black woman who has a statue in this country, this statue would mean an awful lot to me, to the black community, and I think to women and men up and down the country. It's only right that we recognise people who've made huge contributions to society, to the world.
She was very determined in her approach, and I think that rings true today where we have lots of women and black women out there who have those same qualities, but definitely Mary's one of the first ones for us.
So many colleagues, 20% actually of colleagues in the NHS are from black and minority ethnic backgrounds, and yet when we look at the top of the NHS, it's almost entirely white. In fact, it's also quite male as well, and I think that's a real issue.
To have somebody that can cross the divide, and I don't just mean geographically, but can cross across the races to help and support people, irrespective of their background, but just because of their need.
So Mary's statue will serve as a reminder to people that it isn't just recently that black and minority ethnic people have come to work in the NHS. It happened all those years ago.
As a country as big as we are, as multicultural as we are, we don't have enough representation in some of our landmarks.
Recognition that the next generation can see. Growing up as a young black mixed race guy in London, I was looking for positive black role models. I saw them in people like Bernie Grant and in various sports people that I admired. But looking back into history, I had no real idea of the incredible things that black people had done.
We have more people in Parliament that are from the Caribbean. I think we've come full circle to say yes. come and help the mother country, but now the mother country recognises you, and this statue recognises that. We're not forgetting that Mary was part Scottish, so again, Scottish people coming from Scotland will see that they're represented as well. Us unveiling that statue 160 years after she arrived in the Crimea is marking something quite phenomenal of an achievement. She nursed the wounded and the sick, and she'll be in a hospital where everybody that have come over to actually do their bit have created the National Health Service that we have.